before we study renewable and non-renewables and energy sources and uses and transformations, I think it would be a good idea for us to just take a few minutes and summarize what we know and what we understand about energy so far. So let's just look over these couple of paragraphs. Before we reach out to investigate renewable and non-renewable sources of energy, we need to get clear in our brain folders just how we're thinking about energy. So we understand energy in at least two ways. We also understand that energy causes work. These are all things that we've talked about and we've been looking at and doing in class. So let's just put one of the two ways right here. So one of the two ways that we understand energy is what we understand about potential energy. And so potential energy, this is energy that is stored or present in objects or matter. This is energy not in use, but available to be used. And, that means it can be released from an object somehow. So when potential energy is released, it causes work to be done. And I think just all of these, we're getting these in green because the key word here, potential energy, and we can go ahead and just, we can tag that with red. We probably should have just circled that in red first. But, and then get your blue colored pencil and let's get kind of a main idea here. So if energy is determined to be present in an object or in matter, but no motion is occurring, and no change is occurring, then we consider that to be potential energy. Right below here, I've got several forms of potential energy listed for you, so let's just take a look at those. So here are 6 forms of potential energy, and you'll be most familiar with gravitational potential energy. This is where, because of an object's position against gravity, we lift something up above the ground, give it a position above the ground, then it has potential energy to fall or to move towards the ground because of the force of gravity. So in addition to gravitational potential energy, we also have chemical potential energy. This is something we've also talked about in class, and that is when the atoms or when the elements present in matter or in an object can burn or can react with other elements, like lye. When we took lye and put lye in water, we say that matter or objects can have potential chemical energy. So we also want to think about electric potential energy, and this would be energy that is stored or held in devices, and I think most commonly we would recognize this type of stored potential energy, electric potential energy in batteries. And then we also have elastic potential energy, and we didn't specifically talk about this, although several of my students asked if they could actually do the experiment, the investigation using a rubber band. And I said, sure, if you want to use rubber bands, that would be great. So a perfect example of this would be how a rubber band behaves when you stretch a rubber band out and it wants to return to its original shape or to its original condition. Another form of potential energy would be magnetic potential energy. And magnetic potential energy is energy that is stored in, that we would see when we see magnets behave the way they do. And this is energy that's stored actually electromagnetically, if you will. So you could actually add here electromagnetic. All right, and this would be the behavior that you would see between two magnets that were either repelling one another or were attracting one another. And then finally, we have nuclear potential energy, and this is This is the energy that we would see or expect that is used in nuclear power plants. And so what is used here is a radioactive material, a radioactive element, usually uranium, that when the atom is actually split apart, a tremendous amount of heat energy is released, and so that heat energy can be used in power plants. So what I would like you to do at this point now is I'd like you to, these are all things you've got some idea what they are, and you might even have a picture in your mind, but I want you to, in the space, somewhere on the page, on your page, I want you to sketch, I want you to go ahead and sketch a picture or sketch a little diagram showing each of these types of potential energy. And then over here, describe your sketch in each case. Okay, so this is something that I'd like for you to work on and do this evening. And then when you're finished, go on to the next paragraph.